Bird watching is one of America's favorite pastimes. Watching Tweety birds is fun, and you can learn a lot about them. For more information about forest birds, stay tuned for this episode of Believe It or Not. Georgia, did you know that birds live just about everywhere on the planet, from the oceans to the mountaintops?
They seem to be everywhere, don't they?
Yeah.
And there are birds that live part of their lives just on the open ocean.
Really?
They're called pelagic birds?
Pelagic, that's a fun word.
Okay.
We're going to talk about those today?
No, since we're in the lake states, let's stick with forest birds.
Okay, forest birds. Let's go. Georgia, not all forests are the same.
That's true, and not all birds need the same kind of forest.
That too is true. Like these hardwoods behind us here
Yeah.
are kind of forest.
True, broadleaf forests, right?
With broad leaves, yeah. Other birds prefer conifer forests, like these big red pines here.
And some birds prefer deep, dark, leafy forests like this one.
Other birds prefer openings and edges like we see here.
Even urban and residential habitats. So how do birds decide what kind of forest to live in?
That's a really good question. It'd be nice if we could find somebody who knew a lot about forest birds.
Hey guys, I know a lot about forest birds. I was trying to find one up here, but it flew away.
Look, it's Michael Paling.
He's from the American Bird Conservancy.
Hi.
Hi guys.
Funny to see you here. Come on down. Hey, tell us a little bit about the American Bird Conservancy.
Yeah. So American Bird Conservancy is a nonprofit organization, and our whole mission is to conserve wild birds and their habitat throughout the Americas.
Do birds eat mosquitoes?
Please
Of course
tell
they
me.
do.
It's like, I wish they ate more of them.
They eat a lot more things too. Nuts, berries, seeds.
And I suppose things like shelter and nesting cavities and places to hang out are important too.
Absolutely. Lots of cavities in trees, nests high up in the trees.
Lots of places for those babies to develop and grow, right?
Absolutely. Michigan is a huge baby bird factory.
A
Baby bird factory. That's pretty neat.
That's right, baby bird factories. Many warblers like to nest in the canopies, and the canopy is the very tops of the trees.
Oh, I bet it's a lot hotter and drier up there.
Oh, absolutely. You're also very likely to find different types of insects and seeds in a pine forest like this compared to a hardwood forest.
Well, I suppose that means you're going to have a whole different group of birds then too, eh?
Absolutely. Do you hear some of those birds right now?
Yeah, I think it's either a crossbill or a pine warbler. Which one? I can't tell.
I think it's a crossbill.
Very cool.
Yeah, and you're not likely to see them in many other different types of forest habitats.
Just remember, not all birds nest in the treetops. So this is different. What kind of bird species might we find in this kind of habitat?
Well, there are a lot of different bird species you could find here, but some of them are going to be found nesting on the ground. One of those birds is called the oven bird.
Chirty, 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 chirty.
That's a pretty good imitation of an oven bird.
You trying to pick up chicks?
Wherever I can.
The understory is another layer of the forest where we have different types of trees that are younger trees, as well as many types of shrub species. All these ferns and flowers provide additional food sources and shelter resources for birds in their habitat.
Well, that makes sense. So you're saying all this stuff's important.
Absolutely.
I get it.
So everything we have been talking about so far is what we call a vertical structure.
Well, that would suggest there's something called horizontal structure.
That's correct. We actually have a really good example around us right now. This is areas where we go from grassy habitat to young trees and even up into the mature forest types. Horizontal structure can also be where we are transitioning across the landscape from hardwood forests to softwood forests or even swampy forests.
Wow.
I suppose, too, that gaps and openings in the canopy can be important too.
Large and small gaps are very important, and not just for birds.
What about those forest edges? You know, like along a lake or river or even a harvest area?
Edges are really good for birds. There's lots of diversity there, and many bird species will use both the young and old forests on both sides of the edges throughout the year.
Georgia, didn't we do an episode about forests along rivers and streams and lakes?
Yes, a riparian forest.
Riparian forest.
Yeah.
That was a good one. You know, when I was thinking about that, I'll bet you there's a whole bunch of birds that live in riparian forests.
That's right. Did you know there's a duck that nests in trees?
Get out.
Yeah, it's called a wood duck.
Sure glad you could join us. Help us better understand how we can manage forests for birds.
Yeah, you know a lot.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, Bill and Georgia. I'm happy to help out. And for anybody that might be interested in learning more, you can check out the Forestry for Michigan Birds program on michiganaudubon.org.
michiganaudubon.org.
That's right.
Good. And what if just somebody on their own wants to identify birds by their songs or pictures of them?
Oh, there is a great phone app for that called Merlin.
Merlin. You mean like the bird? There's a bird called a merlin.
Yes, that's right. Spelled just the same.
Or the wizard?
Just like the
All
wizard,
right,
yes.
Got it. Very good.
Okay. Well, again, glad you could join us. And if you enjoyed this particular episode, be happy if you join us for the next one of
Believe it or not.